Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Unscaled Travel Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Long, here with my co-host and co-explorer, Amy.
Hello.
We are in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, in the Diamondback Land Surveying Studios. And, you know, this season of ours has been all about road trips. And Nevada keeps coming up as the state that surprises people the most once they actually get in the car and away from the Strip. But I'll tell you something. Nevada's highways don't just lead you to adventure. They are the adventure. Nevada is the most underrated road trip state in America, I believe. Most people fly into Las Vegas and they never see anything else, but the Silver State has more designated scenic byways than almost any state in the country. And enough variety to fill a week of driving without you seeing repeats of stuff, right? Today, we're going to cover the best road trips, from half-day runs out of Las Vegas to legendary cross-state drives that earned their reputation every single mile. And I'm proud to say we've driven almost every single one of these.
Yeah, we've done.
And this is why they are our favorites.
We've done quite a few road trips across our state. I think we have seen almost everything the state has to offer. And I think for people who don't know Nevada, they would be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah. I mean, because I think I know when people think of Nevada, usually they're thinking of Vegas. Mm-hmm. And when they think of Vegas, they're thinking of the Strip. And the Strip is 4.5 miles long of casinos and neon lights and, you know, the M&M store and all those wonderful things that we all see. And that's fun. There's a time and a place for all of that. But the actual scenic part of the state, the rest of it, the Renos and the Carson Cities and the Elys and all of these Winnemuccas and all these fun little towns that are out there that have earned their place in not only Nevada's history, but a lot of these little towns have earned their place in the larger history of the United States by different means and things like that. They've earned it honestly.
Right.
And they have come with some really incredible adventures on the road. And these roads have really led to, once people head down them, they start discovering, wow, there's so much more to the Silver State than just the Strip.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, we were chatting the other day trying to determine how many state parks Nevada has. And I don't think we ever actually answered that question, but we'd been to like 4 of them. And every time we would bring one up, we're like, oh, wait, we've been to that one. And we've been to that one. And it's just one of those things, like, as you said, people think this state is all Las Vegas and the Strip. And there's just so much more to it. That's this one little piece. Some people may know Lake Tahoe, but most people consider Lake Tahoe California, too. I don't think they realize half of it is on our side of the state line. Right. So there's a lot to see there.
And we have... I guess our state, we kind of broke them down into named routes, named loops. It just makes it easier.
Yeah.
I think every state should do this, actually. So the first one is what we call the Neon to Nature. Because like we just mentioned, right? Most people treat Las Vegas as the whole trip altogether. But the smarter move is to kind of treat it as a launching pad. Within an hour in almost any direction, you're in completely different terrain than what you see on the Strip. You go from dramatic red rocks into ancient lava flows, one of the great engineering achievements of the 20th century in Hoover Dam. These are half-day or full-day runs that require almost 0 extra hotel nights. You can leave at breakfast and be home before dinner and have a completely different adventure under your belt. Than if you just stay on the Strip.
And we've done that so many times. Woke up on a Saturday and just got in the car and just headed off down one of the highways. Like, let's see what we can come across in the next 3 or 4 hours, and then we'll stop, have lunch, turn around, and go back. And we've made some really fun weekends out of that.
Absolutely. So the Neon to Nature, it doesn't require much. I mean, there are a lot of tour companies out of Vegas that will take you to a lot of these spots. But if you do happen to want to rent a car, or you happen to have a car for the day, and that's all you have to spare, you can really see some amazing things. One of the first places, what we call the three spokes along this journey, is the Red Rock Canyon National Conservation Area. This is also sometimes referred to as the Red Rock Scenic Loop.
Yep.
This is just a few minutes, or a few miles, I should say, west of Las Vegas, the city whole. It's a 13-mile scenic loop that takes you through this dramatic Aztec red sandstone. And it's if you want to, if you have the time, to have amazing hiking trails out there. I think people do rock climbing and things of that nature, but it's just beautiful, just conservation of land that otherwise there'd be a housing development.
Yeah,
right
I mean, there's
of
housing developments that building up
They
next
keep trying
to
to creep in there, and we keep fighting them back, right?
But we've gone out there to hike. We've gone out there just to drive the scenic loop. We've seen deer out there on like the cooler months when it's not too hot. You see a lot of people out there doing photos. We've had so many different experiences in this one little place, and it is 10 minutes outside of the city.
Yeah.
It's right there, really.
Yeah. And the Neon to Nature, and let me just clarify and kind of go back. This kind of extends from the Strip north to like Mesquite. Some people take it up into Utah, into like St. George, even all the way to Zion National Park. If you go as far north as Zion National Park, well, that's some adventures right there.
Right.
And south, you go all the way to, take it all the way down to Laughlin. You're going to experience some incredible places like the pseudo ghost town of Good Springs.
Yeah.
The towns of Searchlight and different places like that. This is where, outside of Good Springs, that's where you're going to have the legendary Pioneer Saloon.
Right.
And further down in this area, that's where Hoover Dam is, right in this vicinity. So you can kind of take little offshoots off of this path all you want, but the Red Rock Conservation Area, 45 minutes north of Las Vegas, is the Valley of Fire State Park, which hands down is one of my favorite state parks in the entire nation.
Right.
It is
beautiful.
gorgeous. We've done past episodes completely about the Valley of Fire State Park that you can check out. We've done entire episodes about Lake Mead and Hoover Dam and everything that's encompassing that. And one of the things I will say is if you just have a few extra bucks and want to do something really cool, take a helicopter tour of Hoover Dam from the air. It is something unbelievable that you're only going to see right there in southern Nevada.
Yeah, it is really cool. We have done that. And now with the way they've built a new highway, so you don't drive through Boulder City. But if you have some time, I think take the old highway and go down into Boulder City. Yeah. They have a really cute downtown area. There's a lot of history there. They have their own railroad museum. Yeah. It's just a lot of really neat things in Boulder City area that now with the way the highway goes around it, you're not going to see it unless you intentionally go down there. And
some cool, I say cool because I'm an older person, right? But historical, museums, looking at the building of the Hoover Dam, looking at the creation of Boulder City and Las Vegas as a whole, that you can stop along, on these paths. So whether you're out in nature, you're at a picnic table near Lake Mead, which is awesome in itself, but there's just so many different offshoots of this Neon to Nature little path that you can go. And again, it's just a day full of activities. And by the evening time, you can be at Gordon Ramsay's pub on the Strip and having a good time.
Well, earlier you mentioned driving up into Utah, but one of my favorite parts of that drive is the little bit of time that you go over across Arizona.
To Arizona, yeah.
But you drive through a gorge, and it really does look like you're about to drive straight into the side of a mountain. All of a sudden, you just see this little crack, and you are driving. It's nerve-wracking, but also really, really cool to drive through there.
And it's one of the paramounts to that trip, just north of Mesquite, going into Arizona and then to Utah. And it's something unreal because most people will never have the opportunity to drive through an actual gorge.
Yeah.
But we got one.
We do.
And it's awesome. And you should drive it, right? Keep it right here. It's the Unskilled Travel Show. We'll be right back.
Unskilled Travel Show is brought to you by Diamondback Land Surveying. For all your land surveying needs, contact Diamondback Land Surveying at 702-823-DBLS.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Unskilled Travel Show. My voice cracking. My allergies are kicking in. And Jeremy Long here with my co-explorer, Amy.
Hello.
Check us out online, unscaled.travelshow.com, where the website will not mess with your allergies too much. We're talking about the best road trips in Nevada. And Nevada's got some really crazy cool ones because you have these like long stretches of highway where there's seemingly nothing happening, but there's so much like history and culture involved. There's a nice little path. I won't diverge too much, but there's this nice little path that cuts through the middle of the state where you end up near Winnemucca and these kind of places that you've only heard about in Johnny Cash songs, right? Well, there are like offshoots of ghost towns and these old places that don't even exist anymore, that only popped up for a couple of years, like in the 1880s and stuff. So if you're like a big history nerd like I am, it's really exciting. And also you want to test your off-roading capabilities. That's something to really do. So we have named our road trips here in Nevada, and like places like Travel Nevada, our tourism department have a major hand in all of this. So we were just talking about the neon, nature to neon and neon to nature. Which one it is it?
Neon to nature.
There you go. This next one is one that we've taken a few times, and it's a really fun one, and it's called the Death Valley Rally.
Yeah, I love the name.
So you leave Las Vegas, and 2 hours later, you're standing at a place called Badwater Basin, which is 282 feet below sea level, the lowest point in North America. All right. And suddenly you're staring at a salt flat that stretches to the mountains. The Death Valley Rally runs northwest on US 95 to Beatty, then west into the park of the Death Valley National Park, right? The drive resets your senses on what's possible in a day. It is kind of a cultural shock, a shock to your senses, whatever you want to call it, to go from the energy and the neon of the Strip to a place that's as barren but beautiful as Death Valley.
Yeah. It really is. And Death Valley is one of those places that it has parts of it that make you feel like you're on a whole nother planet. And we've talked about Death Valley before extensively. We've done whole shows about it, but we've been there multiple times now. And I feel like every time we go, it's a little bit different too, because depending on if they've just had a lot of rain or if it's super dry, like parts of the park are different too. I just saw recently, because there's been so much rain, they have wildflowers growing everywhere, and so the park
like
is
a super bloom.
Yes,
going on
they're
there.
covered in wildflowers, these yellows and purples that you don't typically see out there. So it's one of these places you can go multiple times and have a different experience every time you're out there.
And we've been out there before, where again, right after really heavy rains, there's a salt lake that forms. And you can walk out into the salt lake, but you feel the difference in the buoyancy because of the salt concentration. And then we've been out there before at different times where it is a dark sky park.
It is.
So you go there and see just unobstructed views of the Milky Way, which is amazing. Then we've been out on seemingly not hot days where there's still no shade out there, and it just be like this overbearing. Like the colors are almost muted, but it's still like this incredible landscape.
Yes, and one of I would say the reddest sunsets we've ever seen was in Death Valley.
Absolutely.
When we were coming down from one of the high points and the sun was setting, and the sky it didn't even seem real. The sky was so red.
It looked like it was on fire.
Yeah, it was just solid red sky. I've never seen anything like that.
And you do the things where you like pull over on the side of the road and you take a picture with your phone.
Yeah.
And then it never comes out right. And you're like, this isn't what I'm seeing with my own eyes. And I'm trying to post it online so I could be popular. And it's just not happening, right?
Please like us.
So the Death Valley Rally is doable on a long day trip from Vegas. Okay. Mainly talking to people that are tourist coming in. But if you're local, you probably already know this, right? But it's really better as an overnight if you get to stay in Beatty and see the donkeys. They have wild donkeys.
They do have wild
that
donkeys.
just walk around in Beatty. Or at the inn at Death Valley. And the inn at Death Valley, if you search like search on like TikTok or Instagram, you'll probably see a lot of videos from people, and they're staying there at the inn of Death Valley,
right?
Which is like one of the only locations inside the park, where you can stay overnight, because they have a couple of camping locations.
They do have a couple of camping locations.
This is actual lodging.
But that's the only like inn, hotel, motel on the property, and they don't have a ton of rooms, so rooms do book up pretty quickly. So if you're interested in that, plan ahead for sure.
The trip out there is about 120 miles from the heart of Las Vegas to Beatty and then to the national park signs and things. It's roughly an hour 45. If you drive like Amy, it's about an hour 15. But it's that classic Nevada high desert. It's wide open. It's surprisingly beautiful. Like for people who are out of the state, they're like, I never knew Nevada looked like this. But there's very little between you and say like the horizon. It's usually just the mountains.
Yeah.
And there's so many points of interest, both historical and just you're taking in the vistas. You're taking in the looks.
Well, there's a spot on that drive that every time we drive by there, we call it out.
Yep.
And I didn't see that you noted this, but I have
Go
to
ahead,
say
go
it.
ahead.
It's a big sand dune, and it is called Big Dune. It's right off the highway. You can see it. There's signs, and every time we get close to it and we see the sign, we both yell out,
Big Dune!
Big Dune. We can't help it.
Oh my God, it's a big dune. And there is.
It's
There's
just
like
a giant sand dune on the side of the highway.
And there's like, what's hilarious to me is that there is this big dune, okay? And it's, if you're going to it, it's to your west, right? And there's like, between when you start seeing the signs for it and the end, there's like 5 different signs that want to make sure that you note that there is this big sand dune out in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
There's also another popular stop along that way. That is the Alien, Area 51 Alien store.
Yes.
So if you like Area 51, or hush hush if you're in the government, but if you have anything to do with like the aliens and UFOs and everything, it's the stop you make, because they have nothing but alien merchandise and like alien beef jerky and t-shirts and all of that stuff. And there's even a legal brothel behind it.
Hilarious.
I feel like I always have to note that.
You do. You have
For the
to.
parents, if you're listening, you have kids, or maybe you're bringing your grandkids and they're like pointing at that building that says in big bold letters.
We don't need to read
What is it called?
I don't know.
They call it the alien brothel?
I don't know.
I don't know if that's like it's an alien brothel. Like you expect aliens to be back there?
Stop.
But don't let your kids wander off too far. Okay. Or your husband.
Or you do? I don't know.
Or maybe something. I don't know. Maybe you are a different family than mine. But it doesn't matter. So,
but we do always stop there. We go in, we grab a drink, we get a picture in front of the alien gas station. I don't even know what it's officially called.
Oh, okay. I didn't know where you were going with that. But yes, get pictures, crop them, frame them later. It's a really fun stop, but it leads you out there. Death Valley is gorgeous. The drive itself is fun, right? It's the drive. It's the being there together. That's the adventure, right? Keep it right here. Unskilled Travel Show. We'll be right back.
Unskilled Travel Show is brought to you by Diamondback Land Surveying. For all your land surveying needs, contact Diamondback Land Surveying at 702-823-DBLS.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Unskilled Travel Show. Jeremy Long here with my co-host and co-little alien explorer, Amy.
Hello.
We're in Sin City, Las Vegas, in the Diamondback Land Surveying Studios. Check us out online, unskelledtravelshow.com. Check out the YouTube. Man, they got some weird stuff on that channel, don't they? Unskilled Travel Show all the way around there. So we're talking about the best road trips in Nevada. And luckily for you, places like Travel Nevada, they've already named these things. So you can just call it out, search online, find some cool trips around the state. Whether you're looking for trips that last less than a day or a couple of days, you're looking for something new, fun, adventurous. The Silver State has so much to offer.
It really does. Yeah.
This is we lived in Texas. We grew up in Texas. I traveled the roads in Texas for years and years. And I tell you, Nevada, it competes right up there with the big boys, as far as like road trips and travel and things of that nature, because there's just so much to offer.
There really is. And this next, I guess, highway we're going to talk about has so many, what's the word? Kitschy little stops along the way. Like we make this drive a lot, at least twice a year. And we've stopped at almost every one of these. And it makes the drive go so much faster because you're like, oh, that's coming up. Let's go stop there. It's just all these fun little things that you can stop and do along the way. Yeah.
So we were just chatting about the Death Valley Rally, right? So you take US 95 north from Vegas to Death Valley, and you take a exit and go off to Death Valley. Follow signs, basically. Can't miss it. But this is almost an extension of that because we're at the valley, Armagosa Valley. You would take a left at the Alien Store. Literally, that's the only time you can say that. Take a left at the Alien Store. You'll go through Armagosa Valley, and you'll end up eventually in Death Valley.
Right.
If you head straight past the Alien Store, you stay on what they call the Free Range Art Highway. And this goes all the way up through, you're talking about through Beatty, through Tonopah, through Goldfield, all the way to Reno.
Yes.
And all of those places are wonderful stops because at different points in time, each one of these things, each one of those cities I just named, were the largest cities in Nevada. I don't think there's another highway out there that can make that claim.
Right. No, and every time we drive through there, we talk about it, how, some of these towns don't even exist anymore. Some are just these small little, almost capsules of time, but how they used to be this bustling hub for the mining industry and whatever else was happening here at the time.
Yeah.
But talking about going to Death Valley, yes, you can go take that left at the Alien Store, but I like going up to Beatty and taking the chute that goes off of it because Beatty has that really cool iron archway that you drive through when you're leaving the city going towards Death Valley, and it says Gateway to Death Valley, and it's a really cool photo op.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah. You don't see that if you hit Death Valley from the other angle. But if you go through Beatty, there's a really cool arch that you drive through.
Yeah. You go through the arch. You get to see the donkeys. That's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
You get to see wild donkeys.
And you will yell out donkeys very loudly.
Amy does it every time. And there is a really interesting, very fun stop there before you get to Death Valley in the ghost town of Rhyolite.
Right, yes.
Rhyolite was a big deal in 1910, man. They thought it was going to be, somebody called it the Chicago of the West, and it lasted about 4 years. But right now you can go and see the crumbling, infrastructure of what this great city was at one time. It was like the biggest deal in the Western United States. Everybody knew where Rhyolite was at the time. And then you head on down the way to Death Valley. So you get there. If you go further north from Beatty, you eventually end up in a town called Goldfield. It was once Nevada's largest city, had 20,000 people in 1904. Famous people like Wyatt Earp and his brothers, they stopped through there and laid some, claims and mines and things like that. It once hosted, I think, 2 of the fights of the century as far as boxing. So many people came out of or passed through Goldfield. Like if you were to pop into 1910, everyone would probably know Goldfield. And you'd be like, oh, I'm in Goldfield. They'd be like, oh, word, and cool. Or whatever they said back
then. You just dated yourself. Okay.
But they also have some interesting things in Goldfield, like the International Car Forest of the Last Church, which is, you've ever been passing through Amarillo and went to the Cadillac Ranch. Well, yeah, the International Car Forest is bigger than that.
Yeah.
And I think it's the same thing. You can go out there and spray paint on some vehicles. It's an interesting, like you said earlier, I think kitschy little stop. There's also wonderful places that you absolutely will not be murdered in, and that's the Goldfield Hotel.
Reportedly haunted.
Hey, look, man, they didn't want our show in Goldfield, so they're not hearing us in Radio Land there.
Our silly little show isn't good enough for Goldfield.
That was 3 years ago, and I'm still salty. Anyway, so Goldfield is
we can't drive through Goldfield without you bringing this up.
No, I can't. Every single time I'm like, but if you stop there, they have incredible like old buildings and old cemeteries and the things that you expect from like these, older towns that kind of boom and bust through the mining era of the United States. And they have a number of like historical markers, but there's still active museums and there's still like active stores that you can stop into. The people that I've met in Goldfield have been incredibly nice. They have been incredibly like welcoming in and everything. So when I joke about it, I am joking, but
a little.
Look, don't take that train in Springfield, in Branson, Missouri. If you're
different show.
Different show. So, and that is just part of that's within the first less than 3 hours from Las Vegas.
At this point, you're not even to Tonopah, which is the halfway point.
Yeah, that's where it is, man. So we're going to keep taking us down the free range art highway into some of these other smaller towns. We're going to find a lot to do, right? Lots of fun, lots of laughs to be had. Keep it right here. It's the Unscaled Travel Show.
Unscaled Travel Show is brought to you by Diamondback Land Surveying. For all your land surveying needs, contact Diamondback Land Surveying at 702-823-DBLS.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Unscaled Travel Show. Jeremy Long here with my co-explorer, Amy.
Hello.
Check us out online, unscaledtravelshow.com. And if you're at Goldfield Radio, I was just kidding. Stop sending me letters, man. Although it was your fault. Anyway, Goldfield is interesting enough. It has so many historical moments. So much good. I mean, there's even like a gem field. Like gem field is actually north of Goldfield.
Yeah, it's just north of it. And I believe you can go there and pay to do your own mining.
Like you mine for gems.
Yeah, for gems. Yeah. And you keep whatever you find.
And people still find stuff out there, which is just amazing.
And I believe there is another, it's a turquoise field, but it's a family that actually mines that themselves. And they are like one of the top producers of turquoise in the whole country.
And I believe just outside of Goldfield is another legal brothel. But you'll have to Google that. But not too far.
Okay,
up US
moving on. Rolling on down the road.
Nevada is a weird state, bro. And I love it so much. But not too far up US 95 is a place called Tonopah. And Tonopah is now famous for different things than it was for, back in the day, which was a Tuesday, just letting you know. Most people know it if you see it online at all in TikTok, Instagram. I'm trying to talk to the younger viewers, but you probably know it for the world famous Clown Motel.
Yep.
The Clown Motel has over 6,500 clown figurines. It has themed horror rooms located directly next to the historic, and it is right next door, historic Tonopah Cemetery that dates back to 1901. Some have called it the scariest motel in America because people don't like clowns.
Right.
I'm not too big on clowns. I don't know if it's the scariest one, though.
I don't have an issue with clowns, but you and I stop by there all the time. We get photos. It is a little bit creepy.
It's unnerving.
It's because there's so many clowns. So many.
It's a gaggle. What do you call a cluster of clowns? A circus?
A murder.
It's a circus of clowns. Yes, a murder. A murder of clowns.
I don't. It's a lot, and then plus there's like a 40-foot clown outside. I don't know. It's a huge clown statue sign thing outside. It's just a little like too many clowns.
Don't take my word for it. If you're listening to this now, just Google Clown Motel, Nevada. It'll pop up. Believe me, you'll see what we're talking about. I think the scariest actual hotel in Nevada is literally just like half a block down from the Clown Motel. And that is the Mizpah.
Right.
The Mizpah was built in 1907, has been beautifully restored. And it is a good, like a lot of people stop there, but it is reportedly haunted by several ghosts. The lady in red.
Isn't there a child ghost?
A child ghost.
Which is Jeremy's biggest fear.
Oh, children ghost? Nope, that's of the devil. And then the bus boy? No, not the bus boy. The bellboy.
Oh, the
bellboy.
Yeah.
There's a bellboy ghost, and people report strange things happen. Like the Clown Motel, I think is freaky on surface because whether you have a thing with clowns or not, some people have a weird thing with clowns, and that's a totally different thing. Again, brothels. But the Mizpah has like reported ghost activities, and I think it is hands down way scarier than the Clown Motel.
Recently reported stuff.
Yeah, like last week. But the Mizpah is also, it's another one of those towns where like Wyatt Earp tended bar there.
You mean Tonopah, not Mizpah?
No, the Mizpah Hotel in Tonopah.
I didn't know he did it at the Mizpah.
The Wyatt Earp tended bar there. Jack Dempsey, for a very short time, former world heavyweight champion boxing guy. Jack Dempsey was a bouncer there for a short time. And Howard Hughes reportedly got married there. There's a lot of history in the Mizpah, and it's probably the scariest place in between here and Reno.
It's from the outside, it does look beautiful. It hauntingly beautiful.
Yeah.
It is definitely from another time period, though.
So, and then it's like really interesting after Tonopah because the land kind of opens up and it's farming land. It's a little arid. So it's like different areas where you see some cattle and things of that nature. And you'll pass a very interesting place called Hawthorne, which was a military base at some point. I think it still kind of has a military connection. And they have a really interesting ordnance museum. So it's like decommissioned missiles and bombs and military memorabilia and things of that nature.
And it's free, right?
I believe
I think it's free to go into.
I believe so. And then Walker Lake, which is just like this massive lake that's out in the middle of nowhere.
But the thing about Walker Lake that is probably more people would know is that this is where there are bighorn sheep sightings. Unfortunately, we have never seen them. And again, we make this drive multiple times a year. Yeah, but
allegedly.
Other people tend to see them and post video of bighorn sheep crossing the highway to go to the lake.
We're always there at the wrong time.
Yeah, it's a little frustrating.
It is. I yell constantly out the windows like a crazed person.
That's probably why the sheep avoid us.
That's probably why. They know our car by now. But then eventually you end up in Reno, and Reno is its own little adventure. We've done episodes about Reno, and it's the biggest little city in the world. Nice little marketing term right there. But right next to it is the Lake Tahoe Loop. So as you get to Reno, you take a left down the the Mount Rose Highway, and you come to Lake Tahoe, which most people, you said earlier, associate Lake Tahoe with California. A big chunk of it lays on the Nevada side, and I don't know how to describe Lake Tahoe for people that have never been. It is one of the most beautiful scenic lakes.
It really is.
I have ever seen in my entire life.
It is. I guarantee people have seen pictures of it and not known that that's the lake they're looking at. But it's basically a lake in the middle of a forest, and the forest is mountainous, and there are
wonderful skiing in the winter. It's a playground on the lake in the summertime.
One of the clearest lakes too. Yeah, you can see straight to the bottom.
It's so deep that it maintains a current temperature of like 68 to 70 degrees all year round, no matter if it's cold or hot in the summer.
You can drive all the way around. I don't think you can make it all the way around in one day, or maybe you can, but it's long. I would definitely stop for the night.
Definitely stop, throw some rocks, think about life, like Dawson's Creek or something. Really nice.
Aw.
Oh, oh. Keep it right here, Unskilled Travel Show. Love you, James Vanderbeek.
Unskilled Travel Show is brought to you by Diamondback Land Surveying. For all your land surveying needs, contact Diamondback Land Surveying at 702-823-DBLS.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Unskilled Travel Show. Jeremy Long here with my co-explorer, Amy.
Hello.
We're in Sin City, Nevada, in the Diamondback Land Surveying Studios. We're talking about the absolute best road trips in Nevada. You know, we've talked about the Neon to Nature Death Valley Rally, the Free Range Art Highway. We got some cool names for road trips here in the state. You know,
we do.
Now we kind of get into the weird and wild ones, I think, that have proven themselves over time. This next one is one that it gathers attention from all around the world, and I'm not even joking here. It's the extraterrestrial highway. The U.S. government didn't officially acknowledge Area 51 until 2013. Okay, did you know that? That's how soon it's been. Before that, no official maps, military denial, decades of UFO sightings, conspiracy theories, unexplained lights. Nevada leaned all the way into it for years now. State Route 375 was officially renamed the Extraterrestrial Highway in 1996. So they were like, take that boring name out of here. We're going to give it something fun, right? This is a 98-mile drive through some of the most remote desert in the country, past the perimeter of the most famous secret military installation in the world. So most people, I think, grew up with at least an idea of what Area 51 is.
Right. I just learned 3 minutes ago that the government didn't acknowledge it until 2013. I didn't know that.
Oh, you didn't know that? Wow.
I just assumed it had always been acknowledged. It just wasn't, that they were not saying what was out there, which I still think they don't really say what's
They don't
out
really
there.
say. I remember when Google Maps first came out and Google Earth. Remember that? And when you would hover over Area 51, it was all blurred out.
I think it still is.
A big chunk of it is.
Yeah.
I think they put up false pictures of what you can find and see out there. It's like you go on Google Maps right now, you can't look up Area 51.
But you can zoom in.
You can zoom in on the area and you'll see like random arid landscape.
I will say, because again, we have road tripped through most of the state, and around this part of the state, there's like no cell reception.
Yeah.
But even when cell reception is there, the mapping, like if you're on your map on your phone,
It's a little off.
It's a little off, and it's very, very slow. Almost like it's being rerouted or something. It's just odd.
And they are tracking you. There's a place called Mercury that's just north of Las Vegas up US 95 that says a big signs like no services, do not stop here.
Yeah.
And then it's guard gated, and this is one of the roads into this place called Mercury that's a part of Area 51.
Right.
And so on the other side of the state, basically, like they have the government owns basically the whole middle of Nevada. But Las Vegas North on US 93. So we're talking about the east side of the state, about 90 minutes to the start near Crystal Springs in a place called Hico. It's a very small town, right? So that state Route 375 formally runs northwest through the Nevada High Desert. It ends basically in Tonopah as well, which connects with US 95, the route that we were just talking about. So it's a long day trip from Vegas, but some people say it's better overnight because you get to stop in some fun places like Rachel.
Right.
And even if you want to stop in Tonopah and do like the Clown Motel or something like that, that's totally fine. But it does have some fun trips. In fact, you and I stopped. There is a fun sign in Hico where it splits off routes. And it says in big bold letters, extraterrestrial highway.
It's an actual highway sign that says extraterrestrial highway. Like they have officially named the road.
And what I think is even better about it, it's covered with stickers.
It is.
People have left their mark all over this sign. I know for the first few years, they had to put, like, I think, a harder sign to steal in place there because people kept stealing the signs.
Yeah, I can see that.
But in Hiko, there are like some fun stops, right? There's the ET Fresh Jerky stop. It's a traditional first stop at the intersection right there at 93 and what they call SR 318. This is where it kind of veers off into its own direction. But beef jerky in every flavor, alien, non-alien. There's alien souvenirs, alien fortune-telling machine. I don't know what the alien's going to tell you about your future. Like, you will be probed, something like that. There's a cowboy alien mural outside. The staff, if you ask them, they will talk about the highway, the sightings they've seen, the thing, because they live out there.
Right.
They're going to tell you about all the weird things that they've seen. And I 100% want you to do that.
Yes.
Because who better? Like, you going to believe me, some guy who doesn't live out there? Or are you going to believe a guy who spends all of his time out there?
Although we have seen some weird things we can't explain.
Yeah.
We won't get into that.
I mean, mostly on Fremont Street. But yes, the official ET highway sign is across the road. So it's, it's nearly covered in stickers, like we said. And then there are there's just really, like you said earlier, it's a little hard to pinpoint things down because things have moved over the years too. Mm-hmm. Different encroachments on land. When places have gotten too close to government land, they will kindly ask people to mosey on your business down the line somewhere, or they'll not kindly do it. And it's your choice whether you believe that or not. But they have all kinds of stops, especially like in places like Rachel. Rachel has a population of maybe less than 50 people. And I think this was the town that a few years ago, people were going to like storm Area 51.
Yeah.
They were going to gather in Rachel, Nevada.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that part. I remember the whole let's storm 51. Let's get the truth or whatever it was.
It's the closest town to Area 51. It's the highest concentration of reported UFO sightings in the area by zip code. And there's a little diner. It's called the Little Ali Inn. And I'm not being cute with the wording. It's Little Ali Inn. But it's a diner, a motel, a gift shop, and a UFO bulletin board.
Okay, so question. If the town closest to Area 51 has the highest reported UFO sightings, wouldn't you think it's just things coming out of Area 51? I'm not trying to be a buzzkill here, but...
Yeah.
I mean, doesn't the government say Area 51 is for testing of
they said it's like military testing and things. And you will, on some of the back highway roads that we've driven, you'll see signs that say low flying craft.
Or monitored by drones. Traffic monitored by drones.
Monitored by drones. But the low flying craft or low flying area or something like that, it makes you think because we have Nellis Air Force Base. Mm-hmm. And they used to use this part of land for simulated bombing runs, simulated missile tests, and everything. Right. There's, in fact, a time where you and I and our kids were driving up a different road. We were driving up US 95. We were driving up the Free Range Art Highway. Mm-hmm. And a jet fighter dropped down low to the point where we looked outside of our windows and we could see it perfectly. Yeah. I mean, you could see the pilot. Yeah. And it's one of those instances where our car was the only car out there. There was no cars coming. There was no cars behind us. That guy locked onto our car and simulated a missile firing at us. I know he did.
We were target practice.
Yes.
He did stay by us for a while and then suddenly just took off.
And then he banked up and left and he was gone, man. But it was so weird seeing a jet fighter that low to the ground. Yeah. And I'm saying I don't know how many feet off the ground was that. That was super low.
It was very low.
Like our kids were looking out the window, waving at the pilot. And he was looking over at us like, oh man, I just bombed you like 37 times.
You're gone.
But it was so wild to see.
I think the point is there are some weird things to see on the extraterrestrial highway
Absolutely.
in that about area.
But you have to go and find out for yourself. That's one of those that there's nothing I could say right now beyond what I've said
Right.
to really hammer home the point that it's remote and you will see some weird stuff, right? Keep it right here.
Unskilled Travel Show is brought to you by Diamondback Land Surveying. For all your land surveying needs, contact Diamondback Land Surveying at 702-823-DBLS.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the show. Jeremy Long here with my little redheaded alien, Amy.
Hello.
Not the best introduction I've ever given you.
No.
Not the worst either.
Not the worst.
We're in Sin City, Las Vegas, talking about the best road trips in Nevada. We have so many, but we've narrowed down to our 6 favorite. You know, we've talked about the Neon to Nature and the Lake Tahoe Loop, the Free Range Art Highway, all these, and just, you know, the extraterrestrial highway, which is really fun in itself. The Death Valley Rally. Now we come to one of the more famous ones, maybe the most famous one outside of the extraterrestrial highway. In July 1986, Life magazine called US 50 across northern Nevada the loneliest road in America. No points of interest, survival skills were definitely required, and even the, I don't know what AAA is now. What are they? It used to be a magazine and a whatever. AAA advised motorists don't attempt to cross this road. Nevada's tourism board turned the insult into a campaign. They created an official survival guide, a passport booklet you got stamped in different towns along the route, and mail in for a certificate signed by the governor certifying that you did indeed survive the loneliest road in America. Now, this is one that we have covered actually pretty recently.
Yeah.
Two different times.
We have. And if I'm not mistaken, for history lovers, this was a part of the Pony Express Trail, right?
Yes.
So like the beginnings of Express Mill, when the riders would be on horse, that was this route.
Yeah.
I find that very interesting, and I know you do too.
Two different things in history, though. We have the Pony Express route, which it absolutely was. This is also a part of the original Lincoln Highway, which was the first coast-to-coast highway in United States history that wasn't created by the government. It was created by private donors and some car enthusiasts,
which we just talked about on a recent episode. That you can catch on Spotify or Apple Podcast.
Absolutely, anywhere you get your favorite podcast from. But yes, the loneliest road in America. It is a roughly 500-mile stretch across the center north part of Nevada that takes you from Utah basically to Carson City, all the way across the state. And there's so many interesting little towns along the way. There
really are.
There's places like Ely and Austin and, all of these wonderful stops. It also takes you through and around the Great Basin National Park. So a lot of people drive it, even just sections of it, just, coming to visit our national park here in Nevada. But west to east, you'll see Carson City, Fallon, Austin, a place called Eureka, and my favorite people up there at Ely, and Baker, which is, of course, the gateway to Great Basin.
I find it interesting that this person who wrote the article for Life magazine called it the loneliest road. And I think specifically they said no points of interest on here because we've driven it a few times, and maybe it has changed in 40 years, although I don't know that new towns have come up in this time, but I did not find it to personally be the loneliest road. There were stretches where there was
let's be absolutely real about this. There were a couple of stretches you and I pulled over on the side of the road. We got out and just walked around on the road. We took pictures and video.
Again, there were stretches where there were no other cars, but then you would get to parts of it where there were a lot of little towns. So I think it's halfway accurate.
I think about the landscape of vehicles in the 1986 time period, right? vehicles were still way better than they were in like 1914 and stuff like that, but way different than they are now. Now, modern cars, you're not going to have an issue really, unless there's something already wrong with your vehicle. But it's one of those places where the cell service is hit and miss. There aren't outside of these little towns, and some of these little towns, they shut down at like 7:00 at night.
True.
People go home. Okay. So getting a tow truck out there, it's going to take some hours if you break down. And so, you think about it back then, this didn't exist. The towns on this stretch of road weren't leaning into a marketing thing. They were just little towns trying to survive, right? And in comes this writer who is like, he kind of meant it as an insult, but they took it and kind of made lemonade from the lemons. And now they had a new thing. And now they have, I have a couple of pins and we have stickers that say, I survived the loneliest road in America. And it's like this point that people come out, go, okay, let me do this.
Well, I think you mentioned several of the towns and cities along that highway, that road. Some of them are actually really nice stops, and we've stopped in several of them. But I mean, Carson City, the end of it, we've been to multiple times, and it is surprisingly lovely. It's, I would say, the total opposite of Las Vegas. And what a lot of people probably don't know if you're not from this area, Carson City is the state capital of Nevada.
It's not Las Vegas.
It's not Las Vegas.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can still to this day pick up a survival guide. You can pick it up at different places in Carson City. You can get it stamped in at least 5 of the 8 towns. Some of the other towns are kind of like, move on. No, we ain't doing that no more. But you can have it mailed in, and the governor will still, I don't think he's signing it, but they'll rubber stamp it and send you back a little certificate. So kind of looking at the towns west to east on here, Carson City, you just mentioned, it's the capital. So a lot of like state things. You could go to the governor's historic, what is that? The governor's mansion? No, Nevada State Museum. Not the mansion. He lives there.
They have the mansion. We've driven by it.
Yeah, you can stop by the mansion, but I don't think you can.
But you can go in the Capitol building.
You can't go use Joe Lombardo's bathroom or anything like that, even though you want to, right? And so all kinds of historical places. This is a place where you're going to find the house of Orion Clemens, who is Samuel Clemens' brother, and so other people know him as Mark Twain. Mark Twain spent a lot of time in Carson City and nearby Virginia City and the different areas. So further down the line, in Fallon, for some reason, they call it the Oasis of Nevada.
It is lovely, though.
It's a beautiful place.
It's so
I don't know where the name came from.
Well, I mean, it's farmland. So you're driving through desert, and then all of a sudden it's like lush green farmland.
I guess that
trees.
makes sense, yeah.
Because, I mean, there are a lot of farms, as you said, or maybe more ranches with cattle. But when you get to Fallon, it does actually turn into how you envision a farm would actually look.
Yeah, nice and green. Green like a farm. But it's also home to the Naval Air Station Fallon, which is the Navy's almost premier tactical air warfare training center. So like Top Gun. Yeah, Top Gun, it moved there from San Diego in 1996.
Oh, I didn't
It's
know
in
that.
Fallon, Nevada now.
I did not know this.
Boom, there you go. Handing out all kinds of
Learning
info.
stuff.
There's also like towns with just really cool names, like Middlegate Station.
Yeah.
That sounds like something out of Lord of the Rings, man. But it's basically a bar, a motel, and a gas station in the middle of nowhere. It's going to be between Fallon and Austin. But it's one of Nevada's legendary sagebrush saloon stops.
Oh, right. I think this is the one that was it was a saloon way, way back when. And it just stayed in business, but kind of modified over time.
But you can still stop in there and get the Middlegate Monster Burger, which I think the guy who used to do the Man versus Food challenges, I think he actually stopped there and did that.
Okay.
And they have a shoe tree, which is it's a cottonwood covered in hundreds of pairs of shoes that people throw on the tree for the last, I don't know, few decades. Austin. I've spent time in Austin. It is a nice little town, actually. It's roughly 300 people, but they have a lot of historic moments, including Pony Express stops and they have a big iron Pony Express sign out there. I stopped, me and the dog, we stopped out This is the legend has it that the town of Austin was founded when a Pony Express rider accidentally kicked up silver ore, like his horse. The horse like kicked up silver ore and like created a boomtown.
Okay.
So that's the legend anyway. And it's home of the legendary Stokes Castle, which I stopped by. Me and the dog did, which is a 3-story granite tower built in 1897 by a guy with way too much money and nothing else to do. And then, of course, the friendliest town on the loneliest road outside of Ely, I think, is a place called Eureka.
Is that where we saw a bunch of deer just on the side of the road? Yeah. Okay. I remember all the little towns do start blurring together, but I remember all the deer.
It's so nice. The deer stop by.
And don't they have an opera house like from the 1800s?
Think they do.
Yeah.
I believe so. The Eureka Opera House. And of course, we've talked extensively about Ely. We hope we gave you some ideas for road trips here in Nevada. It's a beautiful state. Get out there, drive, enjoy. And we'll see you guys next time right here on the Unscaled Travel Show.